Hey guys, today we'll be talking about the latest limited character in epicseven, Perfumer Byblis.
Feeling a bit strange? You must have inhaled the scent.
Now, Perfumer Byblis is a fire soul weaver whose base form Byblis is also a limited character, and she's a Virgo. So some characters that share Virgo would be, let's see. Would be Sharoon, and just green Sharoon. Okay, so Perfumer Byblis being a limited character and Byblis being a limited character as well could seem very hard in getting imprints. But her imprint itself on release and on concentration is both held. I'd say you wouldn't need multiple copies of Perfumer Byblis so far. You could, as we go through the discussion of what her kit does and what she provides. But if you're trying to come from a means of getting dupes just for imprint, maybe not. So for her skill 1, Rose Breeze attacks the enemies with scented paper and has a 75% chance to inflict defense, death break, or decrease defense for 1 turn. On Soul Burn, consumes 10 souls, triggers a dual attack from the ally with the highest attack. So you can see the combination here. When you do Soul Burn, there's a possibility where you death break into a really strong attack that, nukes the enemy that you're trying to target. Next would be your skill 2. I'd say this is one of their predefining things currently. Elixir de Belle Nuit. At the start of the turn, of an enemy's turn, more particularly, grants a lingering fragrance, which is undispellable. So if you're fighting against Notos, this doesn't get dispelled, and the effect still goes on. Increase max health by 5%. When attacked, reflects 8% damage suffered back to the attacker. So reflect is such a good thing to consider here. And not only that, it can stack up to 5 times. So you can see the math here. It reflects a lot if you hit the 5 stacks. And you'd get 25% max HP more. Who wouldn't want that? You would also get 40% reflect on the damage dealt to you. So when an ally health is 50% or less, after being attacked, activates La Vie en Rose. So La Vie en Rose is a secondary effect of skill 2. It dispels 2 debuffs from all allies and recovers health before granting a barrier for 2 turns. Amount recovered in barrier strength is increased proportional to the caster's max HP. So from here we can glean the fact that Byblis scales with max HP. She provides quite a good debuff, cleansing options through her skill 2 activating, and she's poised to be really good against characters that deal a lot of damage through an AoE effect, or is perhaps a character that deals 50% amount of damage to your allies. Okay, so for skill 3, Aura de la Mort, 3-turn cooldown. After granting increased effectiveness to the caster's 3 turns, it spreads a scent of death, inflicting redirected provoke on all enemies for 1 turn, and now up to 100% chance to inflict 2 venom for 2 effects, or 2 turns rather. At the end of the turn, detonates venom effect inflicted on the target. So we can see how effective she is at the moment. Her skill tree alone provides the fact that you can deal venom. So combinations that you can do would perhaps be characters that spread venom or exacerbate the venom, such as the newest character, the newest standard character, Ruiza, but more particularly characters like Death Dealer Ray could poised to be a really good combination with her. And the fact that she can detonate venom and inflict venom makes her quite a really strong character to own. So from here, we can see that there are really good amounts of skill enhancement that you can do. Particularly, I think I'd suggest getting plus 14 for Perfumer Byblis if you plan to use her for things such as Arena, GVG, and especially RTA. So let's look at her animations, I guess. Since I do think her animations have been pretty good so far. Alright.
And abhorrent stench.
Skill 1, quite simple.
Savor this.
If we soul burn her skill 1, there's a chance for a death break as well as a
This should do.
dual attack from the highest attack teammate. This is her skill 3.
Take a whiff
Increased
of this.
effectiveness right here.
You might feel a
And
little
procs 2
dizzy.
venoms to the enemies. Although it's 100% chance, it also
You
does
like
redirect.
the scent?
So this is a really good means of redirecting aggro or provoking the enemies to hit your tanks. As redirect provoke is a very helpful debuff in comparison to just simply provoke. Okay, so here I think this is the more predefined thing about our Perfumer Byblis. If we skill 1 here and Karen counters, this procs Elixir
Time for
her
something
skill 2 or
vibrant.
passive and provides
This should
Dispel
do.
or Cleanse rather, Healing and Barrier. So you can see how good her kit is as of the moment. She's really flexible if you look at it at first glance. And based from the things that I've seen and have played with Perfumer Byblis, this is a really effective tool against characters at the moment who deal a lot of damage through Death Pen. A lot of things that necessarily just nuke your team. And the fact that she has quite a decent amount of debuffs and almost having a really good soul burn, in fact. Although it's not like a ignore FS on skill 3, she's still being a really good tool to consider. Alright, let's talk about gear. My Perfumer Byblis is frankly not that good, but a really good thing to consider for Perfumer Byblis is that her kit is shown to be able to handle quite a numerous amounts of build flexibility, or it grants you the build flexibility that you need or you need to use. But there are some things to consider. One is that she benefits a lot from having max health, so ideally you would like to get past at least 20,000, and proportionally if you build health for a Soul Weaver or any support unit, you should have the adequate amount of defense in proportional to it. There are some Reddit posts that you can go through if you search in Google on the scalar or at least the ratios that you want to ideally hit. But otherwise, just balance it out as close as you can. Next, speed. Perfumer Byblis has, as I've said before, she's really flexible, and because of that, you can either build her a bit faster, you can build her a bit more effectiveness, you can build her a bit more bulkier. It just depends on your use case. If you see yourself using skill 3 more, perhaps build more speed and effectiveness. If you plan to use her as a means of cleansing your team or providing heals and barrier, perhaps build more HP. But one thing that I do have to consider is that when it comes to the sets that you're supposed to run on her, you can run speed set, and then ideally you'd probably want to run immunity. The reason why you want to run immunity is that she's still prone to getting herself debuffed by the enemy team if they're faster than you, which is very likely to happen. And with immunity on hand, there's a good way to mitigate some of those debuffs. Otherwise, she doesn't necessarily need speed set. You can go HP defense, immunity, you can go hit set, HP, immunity, you can go def set, HP, or ER set again. She also benefits from effect resistance, although it would be a little bit constraining when it comes to trying to get all of those stats. So, in other words, HP would be your S tier, defense would be your A tier, speed is up to you, effectiveness is up to you. It all depends on her playstyle or how you plan to use her. And essentially, she's really a really flexible character to own and use. Next, let's talk about her artifacts. I think her best artifact at the moment would be Veritas, her own artifact. Every 3 enemy turns, so you can see the combination of what would happen when you do her skill to unique passive. Increase combat readiness of the caster by 15%. I believe this is up to 25%. Plus 12 on plus 30. That's a lot. And 75% chance of dispelling one buff, up to 100%. So this is like a really skilled up version of Potion Vial. Really good. Other good options you can do, of course, would be, let's see, Bird's Eye View, depending on how you use it. Maybe you use this for some combination, some tactic to spook the enemies. Could be. You would most likely be using Guardian Ice Crystals. It's still an effective artifact to own. Proof of Friendship, I believe, is such a good thing to consider here. Increases health of the caster and foremost ally. Except for the caster by 7.5. It skills a lot. At the end of turn, increase CR of the foremost ally by 15%. This is a good thing to consider as well. But overall, she's quite flexible in how artifacts and sets that you can use. Depends on your use case, of course. So, overall, would I say you should pull Perfumer Byblis? I'd say it's 100% yes. Her kit is too overwhelmingly good and flexible, and it'd be a shame to not pull a limited character. But otherwise, if you're trying to save pulls, this is your last stop to get her, and I'd say this is really worth it. Otherwise, just pull for characters you want. This is really good, and that's it. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.